There we go.
How are we looking on this? Good?
Okay. I think we're good. Well, showing a little more me than you, so
that's okay.
tilt it your way. Yeah, I think we're good there. Can you see the top of your head? Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, let's try this again. You have your questions?
Yeah, I do.
Gonna go off of here?
Yeah.
Hey guys, Savannah Fisher, Rockin' Homes Realty here with Joe, who's going to tell us how to say his last name.
Oh, Versput. It's a common question in my line of work because I run into a lot of different people. I think I closed 3 loans with Phil this year, and he still didn't know how to say my last name. Versput, like verse like a song, put it on the radio. That's the end of it.
Okay, alright, cool. So today we're going to, well, I'm just going to kind of let him chat mostly, but kind of go over some things, do's and don'ts when buying a home. And then also, if you guys have any questions while we're doing this, and you know, he's a lending professional, so questions about buying a home or selling a home or any of that good stuff, I know he'll answer it for you.
Cool. How's it going, Ray? Yeah, so we're going to run through some, this is a meme-based live event because there's a meme that's been floating around that everyone in our industry runs into, the 10 commandments of buying a home. It's basically a list of don't do's for people that, if you're a loan officer, you've run into it in your career with a client, doing some things. So this is kind of just like tips and tricks to make sure.
This is when they turn to their person next to you and they're like, did this person really just do this? Yeah. Listen to what my guy did.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to help you not be that person. How about that?
Right, cool.
And shout out to Southern Grounds. We're here hanging out, drinking some coffee at a local place here in Atlantic Beach. We're both kind of obsessed with this place.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yep, my family comes out and sees the live music they have on the weekends also. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's super cool here. So we'll go ahead and get you started with,
so,
you know,
10 commandments?
Yeah, 10 commandments.
Okay. So I'll talk through these, and like I said, if there's any questions or anything like that, just put them in the comments and we'll get right to them. Thou shalt not change jobs.
That's like number 1.
Number 1, right. You know,
think that these things are like so...
Right.
Most of them, they're kind of common sense, but it happens all the time. You know, whether it's their fault or not, unfortunately, we've all seen it happen.
Agree, yeah. Like the one guy that said he just couldn't take his boss anymore and quit. And I said, well...
Like right before closing?
Right, yeah. So he couldn't hang in there long enough to close the loan, and then that dropped out. So you won't quit jobs, and don't become self-employed. If you're thinking of making a career change, even if it's in the same field, typically you need a 2-year history of self-employed income for the underwriter. So that's a big one.
And when he says 2-year history, it's not just history there for 2 years, it's 2 years of tax returns,
correct.
Right?
That's a great point.
Which could sometimes be as long as 3 years in reality. So
Agreed.
keep that in mind.
Right, okay. And so and any questions on that? We're kind of rolling through. We got 10 of them. So, thou shalt not spend your money for your closing. That sounds, some of them sound very obvious, but when you're running your everyday life, maybe it's not so obvious. But if you're using that money for closing, my coffee's coming, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Important stuff here. You gotta stay juiced up.
If you're using that money for closing, then set it aside and
don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Yep.
Because I don't know if you know this, but we only get paid if the loan closes.
Thank you.
We want to make sure that the loan closes.
Very true.
Yeah.
On that same kind of tip, don't buy a new vehicle. That happens a lot. I know life comes up and people have situations that do come up while you're closing a loan. We always want you to communicate those with all the real estate and loan professionals that are involved in the transaction with you, because we're going to hold your hand through the whole process. So don't do stuff undercover. Let us know what's going on in your life, and we can help you work through that with different, you know, just people we know in the community in different ways.
We might be driving you to work for a couple of days.
Hey, why not? We're willing to go the extra mile, no pun intended.
Or we'll give you an Uber ride or something, you know. We'll make it work.
Right. You don't want to live in the vehicle, then don't buy one. Right?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't want that to be your new RV.
Okay, here's another one. There's 2 of them, buying furniture and loading up credit card debt. I'm going to kind of lump those together. You get excited with your new home, you want to fill it up. Do not go buy a bunch of furniture if you're on the bubble. Now, that goes back to talking to your team that's
Your
helping
loan
you through
officer, yeah.
helping you through this, because some people have like, go ahead, I could see you fit in that debt and your debt to income ratio, which we can talk about in some later videos, but I would say talk to us, but typically the rule is just don't load up on your credit card debt. If you have to reprove things, even if it's doable, it could still slow up the process towards the middle or end, so don't do that. And on the debt situation with that, don't leave out any debt. Sometimes they'll pop up. If it didn't come up in the beginning, it would be a very bad thing to have something rear its head towards the end. I know Deutsche Bank is kind of notorious as one of the banks I've worked with in the past that doesn't put everything on the credit report, but it would pop up midway through the process, and then you go, oh, you own a vacation condo in Daytona. Well, we never discussed it. So don't omit anything. Just be straight up. It's going to come out in the laundry. So we just want to make sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to get to where you think you're going to close and you're going to move and you've already started packing, and then we're dealing with issues. If we know everything on the front end, you know, we can help you work through that. But just full disclosure.
Agreed. I'm going to share it while you're saying hi to Laura.
Oh, that's my mom. She says, hey girl, looking good. You too, Joe.
Oh, thank you. It was nice to meet you the other day.
We're rocking the Future Home sunglasses here. So if you do end up doing... That's like a dad joke. That's
I'm a dad, so I have dad jokes all day.
I feel like you're not old enough for those yet. Okay,
I am.
Go ahead and continue, I guess.
Okay, cool, let's do that. So new credit inquiries. When you're shopping for a loan, there's a grace period where you can pull your credit with other lenders. Definitely, I always, I tell my clients to shop because we give a great deal, and I like to hold my deal up against others if there's any questions. But a bad thing is to get your credit pulled. Like one client, I had her credit pulled once a month with different lenders. We were able to get the deal done at Future. The other lenders didn't have the right products for her. That really did affect her and start to delay some of the processing for her, and we had to,
And it probably lowers her score, so she's not getting as good of an interest rate.
100%.
So basically what he's saying is there's a period of time when you're getting a mortgage that you can shop the rate and not have it really affect your credit score, right?
That's correct.
But once you get outside of that window, isn't it usually like 30 days?
Yeah,
once you're
I've heard 2
outside
weeks
of
to
that,
30 days, right,
then it does start to affect your credit score. So like he said, we always encourage everyone, once you find a house that you want, shop the credit score, or I'm sorry, not credit score, the rate and the loan program and all that stuff, but do it within your window so that it's really not going to hurt you in the long run.
Right. Or you could just cut to the chase and use me. I'm going to get you the best deal. So anyway.
He's cocky
Shameless.
Okay.
Confident.
Like, it's true.
Confident.
It's true. Confident.
There you go.
Okay. All right. I got it.
But on that credit card kind of inquiry thing, also, if you're getting offers like going to different Best Buys or a guitar store or wherever your hobby is, and you get that deal where they're like, can we just run your credit and give you this? Don't do that either.
Yeah, zero interest financing for 24 months or
you're going to have to
whatever
explain that. You could tie up underwriting, and you just want to make it a smooth in and out the door with as minimal paperwork and explanation as possible. So kind of moving away from the credit, there's money for your closing, down payment, closing costs, everything has to be sourced. So whenever you have a large deposit in your account, the underwriters are always going to ask to see where that came from. So thou shalt not deposit large sums of money into your account. That could totally stop it, and if it's not a family member, we really can't do a gift. So you can, and we can talk. If anyone has questions on family member gifts, I'm all ears.
And the family member gifts, correct me if I'm wrong, only work for people that are planning on owning the property as their primary residence.
Correct.
You can't get gifted funds for a investment property.
That's correct, right.
So my understanding of it is, like he said, no large chunks of money going in or out. I think you guys look back probably like 3 months, 6 months.
2 months. Here's an example. I had a guy, and it's in, most people do it in earnest. They're not doing it trying to be shady, but a guy was buying a home. Him and his college buddies were renting a house, and they all owed him back rent money. They were not relatives, and they owed him money. So in his head, he's like, I'm buying a home.
I need this money.
I need this money. So he gets it. Well, that kind of put a little wrench in the works we had to work with, and
which seems crazy because you're like, money coming in is a good thing.
And it's my money, so why can't I use it? It's just all guideline-based stuff. You can kind of harkens back to the Wild West pre-2008 when there was a lot of things moving around that we didn't
Which
like.
some people would argue we're on our way back there.
I don't think so. The guardrails are in place too much. I don't think we're there.
We'll see.
Don't be an
We'll
alarmist.
see. Yeah, okay.
All right. So,
Maybe, just maybe.
all right.
As you tell me about your programs where we don't need anything but bank statements.
That's true, but they still have to qualify on credit, and they
Okay.
still have to source the funds, and it has to be.
When you say source the funds, what do you mean by that?
You can't use other people's funds still for
Okay.
a down payment and drop
Okay.
money in. And the bank statement loans is a cash flow thing. It's higher risk. So the companies that do those bank statement loans, they're charging you 1% or 2% more. So what they're doing is taking a risk on a cash flow analysis for a self-employed person.
Gotcha.
But we're going to dive down that rabbit hole a little deeper. Those are
another
actually
day.
okay loans. I have a family that was really happy and bought their dream house and runs their business out of the property next to it. So yeah, worked out for them. So let's see here, large deposits, changing bank accounts, you just want to stick with the same bank even if you're thinking of changing. Just kind of lock your whole financial picture in when you're thinking of buying a home, and then go through the home buying process, and then if you want to change anything, change it afterward as a general rule of thumb.
Right.
Where am I? I think that's 9. And thou shalt not co-sign for anyone, so, you know.
So that kid of yours that, you love so much and they just need your help so badly.
Right.
Wait until you close your loan.
Just wait 2 months, Junior.
Co-sign. Yeah. Pretty much. So, I mean, if anyone has any questions for Joe, he really is an expert on telling you what might be helpful in the first time home buying process, or maybe you just haven't bought a home in 20 years. Sometimes people stay in their homes a while. I know my parents did. And so a lot of things change,
That's true.
year over year. And so
Right.
if you have questions, definitely let us know. Joe, I've tagged him in this video. So you could always direct message him too if you have other questions for him.
Yep.
We're sitting out here sweating like pigs. You would
It
think
is a little moist out today.
with it being so overcast, it wouldn't be this way, but it is.
It makes for good video, I think, when it's overcast. It's not too
Oh
bright.
yeah,
That's
overcast. Other than like the sweat and the frizz developing all over us.
Nah, it's all good. You're
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
They want to see the rough
Hi,
edges on
Celine.
Facebook Live. That's
Hi,
how it goes.
Lydia.
So, what else we have? I would say, look forward to some more videos from us. We're going to
Yeah.
do some tricks and tips, like probably once a month or so. And
Right.
get a hold of us. We're local. We care about our local community. Both of our businesses are just right around the corner here.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a lot of things with community involvement around town. So check out Future Home Loans and Rockin' Homes Realty. Look at, oh, there we are.
Yours is upside down.
Not anymore.
But yeah, check us out and feel free to message us or text, call us if you guys have any questions. I mean, even if you're working with someone else, I know like if we get calls or questions, we'll be happy to answer them
Right.
regardless.
Right, and I definitely, I do a lot of stuff with veterans too. I always like to mention that. I'm a veteran, and so not only do we offer the best VA loan rates and costs in town and pretty much across the board, but I do stuff like the Vets for Vets quarterly gathering, which actually just got announced, so that's September 8th or 9th, whichever that Saturday is.
Okay.
So it's all just local
We'll
support
put that info in the
groups.
comments.
Yeah, local support groups that do,
Hi, Amber.
PTSD, Wounded Warriors there, all the big dogs and all other collateral groups, and it's just a really nice little community thing where everyone's looking out for each other. Mary's doing stuff with, shout out to Kara from Blue Jay Listening Room with some yoga. So we're just kind of, we're doing a newsletter with the company. So just, we like our community and we like giving people a good deal and doing the right thing. So.
Right. We're good people, local people, so shout out. All
out.
right, guys. Till next time.
Peace.
Bye. Or not. I don't know.
Finish. Finish. Will it finish?
I don't
It's
think
too
so.
sweaty.
All right.